Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not going to apply the rule of law equally to everybody, then what you've done is you've stated, well, some people are above the rule of law, and the people we don't like, we're going to try to undermine and ruin and destroy at all costs. So we'll just read you really quickly 2 articles. Actually, before that, the statement from the Federal Bureau of Investigation Director James Comey in July of 2016, quote, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, end of story. And then there's a comma, but end of story. He admitted that there were violations, that Clinton did break the law. Our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Well, I don't think any reasonable prosecutor would bring a case against Trump, but my viewpoint is worthless compared to Comey's. You had the director of the FBI saying, we found laws were broken, but we don't, no reasonable prosecutor would indict. Okay, now let's see the difference. 15 boxes inside the long, strange trip of Trump's classified records. That was written in February of 12th, 2022. He had already returned 15 boxes, and I explained that in the segment prior to this one. He returned 15 boxes. He wasn't running secret servers siphoning classified data outside of the United States government. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I wrote about that in The Hill. I was a contributor to The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, and I wrote about that endlessly in 2015 and 2016. And every article went through editors who said, yeah, this makes sense. It's a different viewpoint perhaps from our own, but this makes sense. You've backed up everything that you've stated. Madam Secretary, and I want a Hillary Trump 2024, okay? We need to relive 2016. And I'd vote for Trump, obviously, because I want record highs in household median income and a record low in poverty. Okay, that's what we had with Trump. Now we have mashed potato brains and a recession and this apoplectic and hysterical obsession of Trump. But you mean to tell me that servers running outside of the United States government, or we can look at Hunter's emails that are clear pay-to-play, graft, bribery schemes, where Joe could be indicted also, easily. You can't simply just accept kickbacks from people sometimes serving as fronts for foreign intelligence agencies. I mean, this is like not rocket science. This is all New York Post, Daily Mail's, all public record. That's why Twitter tried to suppress it. But he had already, here's the point, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of times, sometimes I understand sometimes, very rarely, 1 or 2 people, maybe 1 person out of 100 comments will get restless and say, you already told us this. It's like, well, it's an important point to remember. That's why I keep repeating myself. But in this case, I'll repeat myself. I did a segment on this prior to this one, but the issue is that they're going to almost certainly indict him eventually. I'm not predicting that. It's not like a prediction, but I'm just saying the possibility, the odds are pretty high that they try to find a way to indict him just on a technicality. They've already set the precedent that they don't indict Democrats who do infinitely worse. And that's not called whataboutism, it's called hypocrisy, and it's called the rule of law being torn to shreds. When you actually commit crimes, and the cognitive dissonance, and you're part of this cult or this religion called Democratic Party, you can't admit that you actually did commit crimes, but you want to go after Trump for a minor technicality, in comparison to what a server, siphoning classified data for 4 years onto servers. And then Comey said, well, there are only a certain amount of email chains that every email that a Secretary of State has with anyone is classified. Almost any email. Michael Hayden, one of President Obama's top intel chiefs, stated that even a lunch date, even a time of lunch for any Secretary of State or a lunch meeting is a classified or a very important source of knowledge or piece of information for a foreign adversary. But the point, ladies and gentlemen, is that you're talking about cybersecurity and 15 boxes that were already returned, and then 15 or so boxes that they took. So there were maybe 30 boxes total. they already took half the boxes. So how are you going to indict him on the intent to deceive or to break laws pertaining to classified data? When he's a former president, he had access to the records. It wasn't like he had a secret server that even President Obama didn't know of. Yeah, right, he knew. And I wrote a Daily Caller article on that. Cheryl Mills, in one of the emails, the campaign emails, campaign emails, stated, yes, the president knows. This is like all public record, but see, nobody cares about these intricacies. That's why you should watch this channel. They only care, people look, and people look at, most people just look at, especially on the left, they look at just what's the news talking about. The news is just 24/7 apoplectic over Trump. They're obsessed with the man. Because of this obsession, you don't get the actual story. You don't get the whole bird's eye macroeconomic viewpoint. Okay, you get only, Trump is up to something no good, and then that's it. He returned 15 boxes. They had classified data. The U.S. government knew he had those boxes. He was a former president. The National Archives, yes, he technically should have given the information to the National Archives, but the Presidential Records Act doesn't have an enforcement mechanism. It doesn't even have a fine. It doesn't have any jail time, obviously, much less jail time. It doesn't even have a fine associated. He had the right to negotiate as long as he liked. If you want to say, well, he had that classified information, he should never have had government records. Well, he was a former president who had returned 15 boxes already of classified data, was working with his team of attorneys, communicating with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Justice, and the National Archives. The FBI gave him a thank you note, knew that he was storing data in Mar-a-Lago, knew that he was storing those documents in a basement or, in a facility in Mar-a-Lago, said put an extra lock on it. In June, then gave him a thank you note. And that's in the Wall Street Journal. Then in August, it's like dun 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 Trump breaking, let's go to Mar-a-Lago, and they're all on security cam footage, and they're on security video footage in June, and they're on video footage in August, and they're going through Melania Trump's undergarments and her closet and everything. Okay. They don't respect Trump. Not only do they disrespect Trump, they have utter contempt and they despise him. So they're not treating him like other presidents. President Obama got the luxury of 30 million unclassified documents that still aren't, he's not in compliance with the National Archives. The National Archives said you had to put everything on the internet. He still hasn't. It hasn't been digitized. What are the chances you think 30 million documents will ever see the light of day? All 30 million will never, ever see the light of day. They will never all be published. And the reason is because he wants to hide a whole lot of information. And that's fine. That it is what it is. And that's what takes place. But Trump is like the villain of all villains. They're not going to be able to convict him. They might indict him on a technicality. Because they despise him so much. Meanwhile, allowing Hunter, clear violation, graft and bribery, my God, kickbacks, are you kidding me? And then Joe being a part of it, they'll impeach Joe, they can indict him also. It is a crime to meet with Hunter's business associates in the West Wing as vice president. Where's the record? Where's there's supposed to be a transcript. Where was the transcript of, Baba Bill and Attorney General Loretta Lynch on a tarmac in Phoenix? I was just talking about golf. No, you weren't, Bill, but that's fine. Again, see, I want a Hillary Trump 2024. Where's the transcript of the discussion between Bill Clinton and Attorney General Loretta Lynch while Clinton was under investigation? Could you imagine if Bill Barr met with Melania? Could you imagine? Oh my God. Again, they never look at things if the roles were reversed. They have the arrogance and the hubris of media and the Democratic Party is unbelievable. They would never allow themselves to be treated in the manner they've treated Trump. But see, again, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Nobody cares anymore about Clinton siphoning top secret and special access program intelligence outside the U.S. government onto servers. Okay, but if you're not going to indict Clinton, you sure as heck can't, and maybe they will indict Trump, but you can't convict him because the precedent has already been set, and he wasn't hiding. Clinton's servers were secret, and that's a huge issue, and he was president with the ability to declassify and own those documents. Clinton had no right to transfer the classified data onto secret servers. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. He returned 15 boxes. In addition to the June 3rd video footage, that should be enough to prevent any conviction of Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.